Hello. Hi, everybody. Oh, welcome, welcome. Happy Tuesday. Wow, we got lots of peeps on today. I love it. So good to see y'all. Let's soak it all in here. It's fantastic to see y'all. Um, all right. I think we've got everybody in. We are going to talk some Cellcore today. So listen, y'all. I don't know if everybody got that message, but we have a group that is kind of wrapping up Cellcore step 4, and we have our new people that are just starting step 1. So this meeting is mostly kind of geared around getting our new people started. And I don't know if everybody got the message, but we are having an extra call tomorrow for the seasoned Cellcore people that are wrapping up step 4. You're welcome to stay here, and we can still talk about your questions, my step 4 people. But we are going to have like our final wrap up call tomorrow at the same time. So you're welcome to stay and come to that one, or come to that one, or whatever you want to do. Totally up to you. I just wanted to let y'all know that, because we got to get these new people started today. They are wondering how, what we're doing here. It's time to get the party started. So we're going to do that, but we always start in prayer at any of the Zoom meetings that I do. I think it just kind of brings us into that place, anchors us in the Lord. And so I always open it up to offer if anybody wants to pray. But I think since it's our first meeting for so many of us, I'm going to pray today. But just know that in our future meetings, I love for other people to jump on and start us in prayer. Sometimes we need kind of a safe space to be able to do that, and a lot of people don't feel comfortable praying in front of other people. But I like to get us out of our comfort zone a little bit, and this is always a safe space to do that. And so just be thinking about that, so that next time we meet, maybe you'll feel a little stirring to just start us in prayer. So let's start there. Heavenly Father, thank you for this day, Lord, and I thank you for every person here, Lord, who's come here because they want to be a better steward of their body. And we are seeking to do that to your glory, Lord. We are here to take care of these bodies so that we can better serve you, so that we can love others well and do the work that we are called to do, Lord. And so we invite you into this time, into this space. We ask for your guidance. We know that each one of us collectively, we are doing something together here, but that each one of us has our own health challenges or issues or just things that we're trying to work on, Lord. And so as we go through this, we are going to ask for your guidance collectively and individually, for discernment, and just always following that light that you're leading the way. And so we ask you to bless this time to your son's name. Amen. All right. Thank you, friends. Okay. So, like I said, we're going to start with just kind of jumping in with our new people. Step 1. Now, I know a lot of you have asked me, okay, what day are we starting? What's our official start date? And really, it just varies. If you already have your supplements, if you've already started, awesome. If you don't have them yet, that's okay. We don't have like one day that we're all starting at the exact same time, because everybody's got a lot of different things going on. Some people are jumping in late. Some people want to get past a couple, events before we get started. Totally fine. So you're not late, you're not early, you are just right. So you are welcome to jump in and start at any time. Today, I just want to make sure that you feel comfortable with what you're doing, let you ask your questions, make sure you kind of know where everything is. So I think we'll start there. Hopefully you've found all of the information that we have for you. I'm going to share my screen to kind of show you where to be looking. You're going to learn about me that sharing my screen is always scary because I never know where it's going. Okay, here. Okay, can y'all see this? Yeah, okay, good. So this is in Mighty Networks, okay? And y'all should have, you're not going to see all this because these are all my courses, but y'all should have this Cellcore and this Cellcore group. The group is where we've been posting and sharing, right? But you should also have this information here, which is going to walk you through all of the steps and getting all the videos and all that. Has everybody found this? You have. Okay. Is anybody? Okay, great. Diane is looking like maybe not. Here, unmute yourself and come on in.
Okay. So, should we have been able to open these, started this yet, or no?
Yes, you should be
Okay.
able to open
Because
them.
I can't. I
Okay.
haven't been able to. Okay.
Okay. So let's see. Has anybody else been able to open what's in here or not? Let me know.
I have been able to open some of it, but like that first video, I can't open. The Cellcore Foundational Medicine, it doesn't seem to open, but I've been able to open other ones.
Yes. Okay. Let's see. Does it do this? It's just not playing anything?
Yeah,
Or...
that's what it does.
Oh, well, that's not helpful, is it? Okay. Well, this is why we have to talk about these things. Okay, I will get that fixed. Let's see if step 1 is working here. Let me just make sure. Let's see this video. Has anybody tried to watch this video? Where does that take us? Okay, that looks like that's going to work. Hi, friend. Welcome to... Okay, has anybody been able to watch that yet? Okay, Sherry's nodding. Step 1 of the protocol. We're here. It is time to get this party started. Are you ready? I can't wait. Okay. You know how cringy it is to watch yourself? It's extremely cringy. Or hear yourself on podcast.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes, Tamara.
So I thought this was our last call for Cellcore, but it's actually the first call for the new.
So I messaged in the group that for our people that are wrapping up step 4, we're going to have a wrap-up call tomorrow.
Tomorrow at 1:30?
Same time. Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm sorry.
Good luck, you guys. You're in for a trip. Bye. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Okay, we'll see you tomorrow. Okay. I will check on that that first video for y'all. But definitely go ahead and jump into step 1 if you haven't. It helps explain everything. I try to head off as many questions ahead of time, so whenever somebody's ready to start, you feel comfortable. But I also get that there's always questions to be had. So that is why we do these meetings, and also why you are welcome to post here in the Cellcore group as we're going along, right? And so here, days or 3 or 4 days before we have our monthly Zoom call, this will always be posted. A new one of these will be posted. So you can come in here and post your questions, and this is where I'll go to, because a lot of people can't make it live, right? And so this is where we'll go and answer questions. But I was like, even if you're going to be here live, if you go ahead and put your question here, if you have it ahead of time, then it kind of helps me know how much time I can spend and that we have to talk depending on how many questions we have, right? So let's start out with, let's see, just some of, maybe we'll start out with some of these. Okay, Sherry, you're able to make it. Yay, or you're here for a little bit. Okay, and so Sherry, if you have any questions, let's definitely get you in if you have any. Okay, Jackie's asking, if I'm taking magnesium citrate, do I need to stop taking it during the detox? Okay, so this is a good question that leads to a broader question, which is, do I keep taking the supplements I'm taking in general? And the answer to that is, it kind of depends. You are welcome to continue taking any of supplements that you're currently taking. And again, I'm not a doctor, so if your doctor is like, hey, you need to take this, I do not want to divert you from that. But if there is anything that you're taking that, you're like, well, I could probably pause this for a while. Because in a lot of cases with supplements anyway, I kind of like to cycle them as it is. But if there's any that you could during this time, this would be a good time to do it, because we want to just really allow the body as much as possible to focus on what we're doing in this mission right here with Cellcore, and it's covering a lot of basis. Now, one thing I definitely would say to discontinue for now is a probiotic, especially when we start getting into month 2, 3, and 4, because we're going to be going in with our killing agents, our eradication agents. That's what like para 1 and para 3 are. We're going in to actively kill some things off. And so it's counterproductive to be taking a probiotic while we're kind of in there working on cleaning things out, right? So that's something that you can pause for now, and then would be great to bring back once we're through the protocol. That'd be a great thing to do. So now specifically with magnesium citrate, I would say hold on to that if it's something that's helping you go to the bathroom, because that is super critical here. Everybody needs, and just get used to my TMI right now, everybody needs to be pooping like at least once a day. And even if you go regularly and you've never had trouble with that before, this protocol can throw you some curveballs with that. So just be aware of that, because it surprises a lot of people who are like, I have never had trouble with this in my life. And all of a sudden now I can't go. And it doesn't always happen, but it can. And so I do like for people to have something on hand, just in case. It's better to have something like some kind of magnesium as a good thing to have. And I made some suggestions for y'all, about magnesium and things like that, but that's kind of a good thing to have in hand. And so kind of while we're on that topic also, I will say that this protocol can affect everybody completely differently. And I'm sure I've shared that in the video, but I will just reiterate it here. And I think anybody that's been through it was like, well, yep, it sure does, because you really just never know. And some people sail through a step and think they're good to go, and some people kind of struggle, and we have to do some troubleshooting. Each step is different. We're adding in different things. We're kind of progressing and getting a little bit more intense as we go. So just know that it should never be anything so debilitating that you can't like get out of bed or function in life at all. And we can always dial back the dose. There's things that we can do with that. And we've had to do that sometimes in the past with people. And that's okay. So just know that there are options, but with to also perhaps expect a little turbulence and not throw in the towel at the first sign of turbulence, right? Because we are stirring things up. We are going in there and we are stirring things up. And so that's something that you want to be aware of. And with that comes some turbulence sometime. Okay. And we can talk about that more.
While you on, can I interrupt for a second?
Yes.
While you're on this topic, I use kefir to get my pills down because it's nice and thick and creamy.
Mhm.
And I use raw milk kefir, so it's full of probiotics. Is that an issue?
No, that's not an issue. Being that it's couched in kind of a real food, I love that. I love that you do that. We are taking it with those agents that are killing things off. So I mean, it may not make it, as effective for what you're doing it for, but if you want to continue taking it because you like it and it's good and it helps you get things down, it's not a problem. It's not going to do any harm or anything like that. It might make it a little bit less potent, since we're kind of in the killing off mood when we get to steps 2, 3, and 4.
And does that also go for like not supplements, but like green powder smoothies, like AG1 or something like that?
Oh, that's fine. You can take that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Those are really good questions.
And-
No, those are fine.
Can I ask about the prebiotic?
Yes, that I would go ahead and pause that as well. What are you using?
I'm using, oh shoot, is it Just Thrive?
Oh yeah, I love Just Thrive. Yeah, no, that's great. That's something that you could pause right now.
Okay.
And I probably would just pause that right now. Yeah. And believe me, when you get into it, and if you've already started taking stuff, you're gonna be like, what can I shake right now? Because what can I stop? Because this is a lot of stuff to take. And it is. It's a lot of stuff to take. And step 1 isn't as much of a challenge, but when we get into step 2 and we have to take para 1 away from other things, and we'll talk about that. It makes it a little bit more challenging. Things have to be a little bit more spaced out. So it's nice. You'll be like, I'm glad I've kind of narrowed things down a little bit.
Okay.
That said, everybody, if you are on any kind of medication, you want to keep that away from these products. The doctors would recommend a couple hours away. I say at least an hour, but 2 hours would be better. And most of that is due to the fact that we don't want it to interfere in any way. But one way that it can interfere is that it can make your medications even more effective, because what these humic and fulvic acids do, they are able to get into the cell very effectively. That's why this is so great, really, is because of the carbon technology, the way Cellcore has formulated their humic and fulvic, and the charge that it has. It's able to really get into the cell really efficiently. So anything that's going along with it, which is great, including food, including other supplements, are also going to be more effective. And so with medication and dosages, we just don't want anything to throw that off, right? So we want to keep that away from our medications. Erin, did you have a question?
I do. On step 1, did you say not to take the binder with the other 3 products
No, you can. You can take the
Okay.
binder.
all together?
You can take it all together.
Oh,
That
okay.
the beauty, that is one of the beauties of Cellcore, is that their binders can be taken with the other products, not with your medication, no medications,
Okay.
but with the other products. Because this is one of the things I ran into over the years when I used to put gut protocols together, and we had to keep away not only the eradication agents, so like the paras that we'll be doing, but also the binder, and everything had to be taken away from each other, and it all had to be taken away from medication. And it just got really complicated and very hard for people to comply, because it's almost like you needed a schedule and reminders when to take everything. So that's one of the beauties of Cellcore, is that their binder can be taken with other things, and that their binder can be taken long term. Other conventional binders like activated charcoal, diatomaceous earth, those kinds of things, they can only be taken, not only can they only be taken for a limited amount of time. Well, first of all, they only work locally in the gut, right? But these binders work systemically, which is huge, because we want to pull toxins systemically. But if you take those other binders for too long, they can start pulling nutrients out of the system, and we've had that happen. Seen that happen to people before. So you just want to be careful if you're ever using those. But these can be taken long term, and they can be taken with other things, which is fantastic, and one of the reasons I love it so much. Any questions about that? Okay. So those are two of the major things I really wanted to get to today, is that take away from medications. Okay. And just to be open and, be preparing yourself for anything that could happen. But we're here to support you all along the way, as you're going through this. Okay, let me look at these questions. Okay, Sarah, I don't think Sarah is here, but she was asking about carboxy, and Sarah is wrapping up step 4. So Sarah, we'll talk about carboxy. I'll answer that tomorrow, but that's just a very, very powerful binder that's not a part of any of the protocols, and would be used in kind of more therapeutic situations. Let's see here. I think Anna, are you on here? Let's see. I'll answer her question if she's on here, but I think that she is wanting to know about the full moon cleanse for later. But I don't use an app to track the full moon. I literally just use the search bar on my computer. When is the next full moon? So I don't really have an app for that specifically. Okay. And then, yes, we don't have a specific start date. So that is not a problem. Oh, yeah, Melanie, you were asking about diet, and I said that we would talk about that. So Melanie was asking, do we need to be on any kind of special diet, or are we doing anything specific here? So what I like to tell people is, this is 4 months long, and as you know, and it is best to eat as well and clean as you can, but you don't have to be a saint while you're doing it. Okay, it is 4 months long. You are gonna have things that come up. I've had people say, I want to do this, but I'm going on a cruise for a week, or I'm going on spring break. And we're going to be in situations where we're a little out of our normal routine and we know we're going to be eating a little bit differently. And that's okay. It's life. And that happens, and it's not going to ruin anything we're doing here. But you do want to honor this time. You're spending a lot of money, a lot of time, making a lot of effort to do this. It's really a time to tighten it up as much as you can. And like I told Melanie, I mean, and I tell all my groups, just really focusing on real food the way God made it as much as you can. Good amount of protein, good amount of real food, carbohydrates, produce, and what we call whole food carbohydrates like beans and lentils and quinoa and that kind of thing. And doesn't mean you can't ever have a cookie or anything, but just really, honor your body as well as you can. And just a few, just kind of a few directives here, and what I share with if you're not in any of my other groups, is aiming for like 70 to 90 grams of protein most days, keeping carbohydrates under 100, even more like 50 to 75 if maybe weight loss is a goal, or we're trying to gain some insulin sensitivity. So that would be some goals for that. Any questions about any of that? I'm going to stop sharing so I can see your face and not this. Any questions about any of that? Dietary questions? Anything at all? Melanie's gonna, okay, come on, Melanie. Talk to me.
So that kind of goes along with, I was wondering, like for some days, I like to fast until noon, but I want to take my AM protocol. So can I take them without food?
You can.
It's okay. Okay.
Yes. These are very forgiving supplements, and you can take them, well, I say that, I mean time-wise for the most part, but you can take them without food. Some people don't feel good when they do that. It could be too much on an empty stomach, but if you can, it doesn't bother you, it's fine.
Okay.
So when it has, I shouldn't have clicked out too early because we should go back and just kind of look at step 1 together. That would be a good thing to do, so we can talk through it. And just eyeball it all together. Okay. So here's what we've got going on for step 1. So yeah, you got it easy right now. You can take all of them together if you want to. And if and this is going to be applicable right now and moving forward, these 2 things. If you know that you're a sensitive person, you just know that about yourself, like things affect you, you're sensitive to things, and you want to ease into this a little bit slower because you're worried about how it might hit you. You have a couple options here. You can always start with the half dose if you want. Now, you can't really start with the half dose of CT minerals because it's 1 capsule. But with the others, if you wanted to start with the half dose just to kind of test the waters, you can do that. Or you could introduce the supplements 1 at a time in the order that they are listed on the card, the dosing card. And that is true of any step moving forward if you want to do that at any time. And as we get going in the other steps, when things get a little bit more intense, it's never a bad idea to do that. But we want to make sure that you're able to tolerate a full dose of everything as laid out here, for most of the month that you're taking it. Because if you can't tolerate a full dose for any amount of time, then that might indicate that you need to go through this step again. Okay, that step we need to work around that. If you can't tolerate the full dose, that your body, is going to need to kind of stay there a little bit longer until you can. So those are a couple options, but that is always an option, to just know that. And like I said earlier, if you're already into it and then you're really struggling, maybe like we've had, for instance, in this last group that I had, which was such a fun group, by the way, and they were so fun because everybody shared stuff. It was like my best group ever because people were just open and willing to share what they were experiencing, and especially as we kind of get down the road. So I encourage you to do that because it really helps when you share and other people be like, oh my gosh, I'm felt the same way. I had a headache or I had diarrhea or whatever. And there's never TMI ever here. So just know that. But we had somebody who she was having some diarrhea with one of the steps and really kind of struggling. And it, she felt fine. She's like, I feel fine. I'm just having diarrhea. But so, we kind of worked through that. But you can back off and, if you need to, and then pick it back up. But so there's lots of ways to tweak it. I just want you to know that going into that. And that's why we're here and doing it together so we can work through that as you go. Okay. Nori, did you have a question? Yeah, let's see. There you go.
Hi, yes. I was just wondering with lifestyle and how there's additives added to so many things that we're eating, even if it's in the realm of generally healthy, how detrimental or prohibitive is that to these products?
Well, like give me some examples of what.
Well, so like I'm a mom of 3 young kiddos, and so meal prepping for hours on end just isn't in my regular routine right now.
Right.
So like I'll be getting, like the egg witch sandwiches, which is a good amount of protein, but again, it's pre-made. So, something like that. Or, they've got like the healthy stews or soups put together for you. And they are healthy, all natural. But again, when you read the labels, you're like, I don't know about that ingredient. And so I'm just kind of wondering, when you say eat, like you said, this is an investment. So we want to be doing our best. Would those still be in the realm of okay? Or if you're eating something like that on a daily basis, is that really going to hinder the effectiveness of this protocol?
Right. It's not going to hinder the effectiveness of the protocol. I consider those upgraded choices, and it's not like you're sitting down to a bowl of Fruit Loops, right? So, right. There's a difference. It's really about the kind of accumulation of it. Using kind of the more convenient choices, the upgraded convenient choices. That's fine. Like I said, it's all relative. It's better than a lot of what we're doing with the diet. But the more that you can, I don't meal prep either, and I've never been a meal prepper and I just can't make that happen. But actually, try to cook and get everybody fed and cook as best I can most of the time. And then sometimes I'm throwing in stuff like that too. Like, oh, we're gonna have an egg wedge because I just don't have time to make pulled. So just as a combination of those things, I don't know if like your lifestyle is like everything's kind of like that, or they're just kind of thrown in the mix alongside.
Stop
Not going
freaking
to
out.
totally negate everything you're doing here. I would just say the more you can, keep it clean, the better. But it's not going to totally negate it.
You can go around the stairs a couple times and come back and do the seat.
Okay. Anybody else have a question along those lines? Anything about step 1? Everybody feels confident knowing what we're doing here. I'm trying to think of particular things like kale support. If if you are noticing you have to pee a little bit more, could be that.
The pencil, your
that
3
might be
fingers.
something. Let's see.
Has anyone ever had an effect of this affecting their sleep before in any of these cycles, or no?
Probably yes. I can't think of somebody offhand, but
Okay.
any question that you could say, has anybody ever, could this happen? I'm thinking, yes. There is every possibility.
You don't
that,
want
like,
to do
this
everything.
be a detox reaction? Yes, it could be.
Okay.
Not until you're done.
You just never know what could happen. I'm not saying anything horrible, but yeah, little things like that, it could disrupt your sleep possibly. But for instance, if it is something like, oh, I'm noticing I'm having to get up at night and pee more. Well, maybe that means we need to back up those evening supplements. And it says evening, but even if you're doing it at like 3 or 4, you know, something like that doesn't mean it has to be like 8 o'clock at night. So that's what I was saying earlier. It's forgiving. There is forgiveness here. The most important thing is that you take them. That's number one, that you don't take them near medication. And that's really the most important thing. But if you're playing with those times a little bit, it's okay. Okay. But you might notice stuff like that. Like, oh, because we're working on that kidney liver, it might just be flushing you out. That's a drainage product, right? We're working on drainage, energy and drainage, and the energy is supporting the mitochondria. That's what the BCATP is doing. And so even though we're not pushing on things yet, as far as pathogens go, like bacteria and parasites and things like that, just by getting everything working better, we can start having a detox reaction. I mean, I have people have a detox reaction when we just change the diet sometimes, just because when you are giving your body what it needs and it's taking in nutrients, which are making everything run better, you know, we get all the gears working, then the body can let things go, right? We're really pushing down the accelerator pedal as we go into Cellcore with the BCATP, which is working on the mitochondria, helping those energy factories in the body make energy, whether that's in your intestine or your brain or your pancreas or your heart or whatever it is. The gears are going to crank up. And so when we're cranking those up in the kidney and the liver and the intestines, all those things, we're already starting to make things work better. And then when we're giving the CT minerals, right, we're giving those trace minerals that we need to help facilitate a lot of the actions in our body, a lot of those processes. And so we are starting the detox process by kicking things into gear. And then, of course, with biotoxin binder, we're already starting to grab things. We're grabbing toxins right away, which is why it's so important. We've got to be pooping. Got to be pooping. We've got to get that out, because if we're not pooping regularly, the toxins recirculate. And that's what it will make you feel worse. And they're worse after they've tried to be processed through the liver and they can't get out, then they're even more toxic. So I'm just going to keep hammering that home. We gotta be doing that. And anytime throughout this protocol, if you can do some of those adjunct detox therapies, like if anybody has access to like an infrared sauna, or I mean, just exercise, sweating, you know, getting outside and sweating, or it's a little cold right now but if you're going to the gym, sweating, it's just another way that toxins can leave the body. Doing castor oil packs or anything like that that's going to facilitate the drainage pathways and moving things out is going to be helpful through this time. Really want to support the drainage. And so if somebody, you know, when people do the more severe detox reaction somebody has, if somebody's like struggling, that's one of the first things we want to think of. Okay, let's support energy and drainage. And especially the drainage, like perhaps the drainage pathways need more support because things are not getting out or moving through well enough, and they're just kind of stuck in there. So we always want to be thinking about supporting drainage if we're feeling icky for any amount of time. That's, you know, if we're can't get over the hump of feeling yucky, that's what we need to be thinking about. Okay. Any other questions? We can stop this. So any questions about this? This is pretty straightforward. You should have instructions for all of these. And like I said, you just follow them as is, unless you want to introduce one thing at a time. Unless you want to start with a half dose, which is perfectly fine, and work your way up. Any of that will work. Okay, so who has started? I'm just curious. Okay. All right. So we have a couple. We have a couple doing it together. Are y'all doing it together? Ooh, awesome. That's fantastic. Fantastic. Love that. Okay, everybody feeling okay so far? That started? Okay. A lot of people feel really great on step 1. And that's why I say this is a pretty good, safe bet for most people to do, even if they weren't going to move on with the protocol. But it really, again, supports just kicking everything into gear, draining out the pathways, so that we can prepare the body for when we start coming in with the big guns, right? That they can start moving throughout the body. So that's awesome. I'm so glad to hear. Oh, you just started this morning. Okay. Fresh. Fresh this morning. That's good. And like I said, you'll get tired of taking all this stuff by the end of it. I mean, it can be a little bit of a chore. But I want to encourage you to hang in there because each step does build on the other. And we have to, there's just a very systematic approach that we're doing here. And it was formulated in this way for a reason. Right. And so sticking with it, even when it could get a little tough, and I don't want to scare you, but I want to be realistic. And like I said, you may sail through it and have no problem. I have a lot of people that get disappointed when they sail right through it because they feel like they didn't get their money's worth if they didn't feel bad. So don't think of it that way at all. But just know, yeah, it can have some peaks and valleys as you go through this for sure. It's a great time of the year to do it. Really will be supportive of your immune system, as we're kind of at this time of the year, really working towards that. So it's good stuff. And I'm excited for y'all. But anything else? Don't be shy about asking any questions.
Hey, Chelsea, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
I have a question.
Okay.
Started back in September, and then phase 2 and phase 3, like phase 2 drug out a little bit, and then phase 3, I had to back off and was just doing like the morning dose because I was doing reflux at night. So I'm right at the end. Well, time wise, I ordered phase 4, but I still have supplements for phase 3 left. Should I try to finish those before I go into 4?
What do you have left? Para 3, you're always going to have Para 3 left.
I've still got Para 1, Biorad, Chem Binder, and the advanced TEDCA and CT minerals.
Okay, so what are you out of?
I'm not out of anything. I guess I've been on it for over a month or a month now. So but should I finish what I've got before I move forward?
Because you've been on it for this long because you did have to dose, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Definitely finish that. Definitely finish it. You won't finish Para 3.
Right.
Right. But have you did you ever take a break from Para 3?
I did.
Okay, good. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Like Christmas to New Year's, I took a break from it, and I was
okay.
figure out if I should start or finish up my product there.
Yeah. Go ahead and finish that. And
okay.
Then
one other question, kind of related to that, with like my hormones and stuff. My doctor prescribed a compounded pregnenolone and progesterone. Should I go ahead and get started on that, or try to finish up the Cellcore before I add something into my schedule?
Oh, well, that's really up to you. I mean, I kind of feel like if you got the hormones, you ought to get on with it.
Okay.
Right? But you're on step 3 right now. I mean,
right.
Okay. So you're kind of know where you are. I just, like starting a lot of things at once and you just don't kind of know what might be throwing you off. So I think if you're kind of holding steady with step 3 right now, and then you bring that in and you'll know. I just want you to be able to recognize if it's creating something for you and not know, is it Cellcore? Is it the hormones? You know what I mean?
Okay. And then just try to allow at least an hour between it and the Para at night.
Yes.
Okay.
Although it's a topical compound. No, it's oral. Oh yeah, you did. Yeah. Capsules, yes, you got to keep that away. If it's a cream or something, any kind of topical thing, then that's a different story. But if it's an oral supplement, yes, keep that away.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
What was the product that you recommended for constipation besides magnesium? Was there one full script?
Full script. So let's see. Generally speaking, there's we can take our regular magnesium that we always take. But there's some different ones like a magnesium glycinate or a magnesium citrate. I prefer glycinate, but it doesn't work for everybody. For constipation, I like to try that first because it offers a little bit, it offers more than like a citrate, as far as magnesium goes. But so those would be some options. There's also a supplement called Trifala. It's in full script. You can also usually find it at the store if you are in a real pinch, but you should get it cheaper on full script. But it's by Organic India. It's called Trifala. That's one that I tend to fall on back on. I don't know if y'all have heard my podcast this week, but I talked about the lymphatic cream that I've been using topically, and it has just been like a game changer for me because I've been one that's always tended toward constipation, right? And it's been fine, but with hormone fluctuations, it's kind of thrown me back a little bit. But since I started using this topical lymphatic cream from Rocasa, now it's not on full script, unfortunately, but it's been fantastic. Like really good. So if you are somebody that tends toward constipation, please have some helpers on hand because it's better to have them on hand. And even if you're doing okay in one step, like I said, another step can kind of throw you for a loop. So it's good to have them on hand. And if you are in full script, I believe I have a constipation section. So all those options should be in there. And if not, then I'm gonna I'll make one, but I'm pretty sure I do have that. Okay, let's see. I haven't even been checking these questions. Let's see. And make sure I'm not. Monica, the estrogen patch shouldn't be a problem. No. Okay, how many hours apart are the wake up and morning times on the card? I know that's very vague, isn't it? Morning. So the most important things, like when we get to where it's like wake up time, morning time, is just keeping that. When we get to para 1, which is next month, we're going to keep that 30 minutes to an hour before our regular dose. So it's kind of vague. And again, we have a little wiggle room with that timing. It's not, there's nothing special about like 9 o'clock in the morning to be taking these. You know what I mean? It's just trying to space them apart a little bit. So have some kind of for the first half of our day to work and then the second half of our day to work, right? So it's more about that. And then when we get to things that are keeping away from each other, it's more about doing that. So just really any time in the morning that works for you. And like I said, this will get a little bit more important next month when we bring in para 1 that has to be taken away from the rest of everything else. So that's, and we'll definitely talk through that. Okay. Let's see. Yes, there's my pull-up bar. There it is behind me. No, you do not get this. Gosh, I'm so ugly when I try to do a pull-up. It's just grunting and it's really not cute. But yes, that is my pull-up bar back there that I come in here and just once a day, like, I'm just gonna try it. So yeah, that's funny. Okay. Love it. All right. How are y'all feeling about it? You feel good? Confident? Good. Okay. Good. So I'm curious if anybody's willing to share kind of what made you want to do this. What are you hoping to get out of it? Just anybody can jump on. I really don't like talking to myself. So if you want to come on and talk, please talk to me. If you don't feel comfortable, you can put it in the chat. But also, you're welcome to jump on and talk to me because I don't like being the only one that talks.
And we'll remind you how to make the beat.
Oh, for me, it was just, I wanted to, I just felt like Heavenly Father was nudging me. I wanted like a reset, I put on weight with my hormone changes and I just, and I want to be healthier, and with all the stuff, like there's rain in the sky and all the crappy stuff we know that's, in our food and everything. I just wanted a way that, like you were saying, honors our temple and kind of cleaning things out so I could boost my immune system and be as healthy as I could. So
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, it's getting harder and harder to avoid things, toxins, because they're just everywhere.
yeah.
And that's why Cellcore calls their a binder like the new multivitamin. Not that it definitely gives us a bunch of trace minerals and charge and helps our body fight off things, but also toxins pull and drag you down of the vitamins and minerals that you're getting through your food, through your maybe other supplements, right? And so it's like we either keep taking more and more trying to hit these levels, or we pull the toxins back so that our body can actually use the things that we're eating and we're taking. And so I just think a binder is really kind of critical in this day and age, because we're just so bombarded. As much as we can try to keep things clean and use better products, it's just really hard to totally.
So is that, I know this will come later on, but is that kind of going forward like a maintenance thing? Is a binder part of a maintenance?
Yeah. I keep a binder for maintenance, and they have a little maintenance kit. That's the BCATP and the minerals and the binder. But I think it's a very minimum, like the binder and the minerals are a good one to have on hand. Definitely. But definitely a binder, even if you didn't take it every day, to have one on hand. Like if you are going out to eat. I mean, if you eat out a lot, I think taking a binder is important. I mean, just because we don't have as much control when we eat out, right? When we're at home, we have more control and agency over what we're doing. When we eat out, they're using seed oils, and they're, a lot of times not using the highest quality of food. So having a binder is helpful. Or if we're, exposed to different things, it's helpful.
Yeah.
For sure. Anybody else want to share what made them want to do this? Oh, good. Diane, come tell us. Oh, wait, let's see, unmute Diane. Get it? That do it?
Okay.
There you go.
And now you know I'm not tech savvy.
Well, actually, I'm really not either, and you will learn that as well, so it's okay.
So that was exciting to hear that last question and the answer. I love that there's a binder to continue this later. So about 15 years ago, I did a detox through anyway, doesn't matter what I did it through, but it was so that I could get rid of my psoriasis. And I did it for like 9 months. It was really clean eating, no, candida cleaning stuff. And the psoriasis didn't go away. And, I was encouraged to keep doing it, but I was like, no, I'm not going to keep doing this. And at the same time, my chiropractor told me about earthing. So I did that. I started doing it years ago, and my psoriasis mostly went away. I just had this little tiny patch on my elbow, and I kept thinking, maybe that's just God's way to remind me that keep earthing or eat right, Anyway, lots of years go by. I eat whatever, and my psoriasis coming back. And the last year or so, I hadn't been earthing a lot, but trying to get back at it, and I'm not seeing a big change. And I continue to listen to you through your podcasts. And so that's what just encouraged me. I was like, all right, it's time. I got to do another really good cleaning. And this sounded like it was time.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I will love that story about earthing. And that is something, yes, I should be encouraging you to do. And I'm glad you brought it up. And I know it's the dead of winter. I'm about to do a podcast on how we can earthing in wintertime with, different products and such. But if you have the opportunity to get outside and earth, or even if you have some indoor like grounding products, it can be very helpful for all of this, and just kind of help you quell the inflammation and everything that we're doing. And, the more we're in that net negative charge to begin with, the more, and I don't know if y'all listened to the podcast I did at the beginning of the summer before I ran the first Cellcore challenge that we did this year in September, called Redox Before You Detox. And really the concept around that is to continue to keep that negative charge in your body, because the negative charge that we get from grounding and from the sun and doing those things, having that negative charge is what helps sequester toxins away from our organs. It helps just destroy, like keep an environment that's not hospitable to pathogens, to parasites, to bad bacteria. And so the body's really doing all that work on its own when we're supporting that negative charge. And, you know, in our modern times, we're so removed from nature and taking that time to do that. And so many of us do not have enough charge. We don't have enough voltage to kind of, I always think of it like a bug zapper, like frying up these bugs inside of ourselves. And so the more that we keep that high voltage by that electron flow, by exposure to red light and infrared heat and light, it really makes the space in our body to be able to hold those electrons and generate electrons. So it's really important. I'm really glad you brought that up. So the more you do that, that's like the most important adjunct therapy. It is the therapy. So if you can do that, that's going to really help just now as you're going through the detox, but long term to let your body be able to handle toxins and pathogens as well as they can on their own. Very awesome. Very, very good. Anybody else have any kind of goals with doing this? They're trying to do.
I'll share.
Good.
I emailed you a few times, Chelsea, about my question. I have a health cancer diagnosis back in February of last year. And I've been changing a lot of things. I'm doing everything from earthing to grounding to getting into the red light and the infrared and everything I can think of. But I don't know if you've heard of the rain barrel effect. It has to do with, you know, as your body takes in toxins, your body's ability to get rid of those toxins. And sometimes there's things that cause the body to just overflow, your rain barrel to overflow. And I went through a lot of stress. I lost 2 sisters to cancer, lost my mom, lost my dad. And I'm just convinced that my stress level just caused the rain barrel to completely overflow. And when I went through this, the last year, changing my diet and everything, and I was already eating pretty well, but really became very restrictive and doing all these other things, I still was feeling kind of lethargic and stiff. And so I'm just trying to do something to detoxify my system so that I don't feel like every time I kind of get off track, if I get off track, that I'm not literally risking my life. So it's just trying to, as much as possible, empty that rain barrel of toxins to the point where if I can go out to eat or I can have a cookie. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Because we should be able to handle those things, right? I mean, God made our body amazing machines, and we should be able, you know, it can withstand some toxic effects, right? But we're just overloaded right now, and your stress is like a toxin, right? It certainly, when you have so much cortisol, you know, coursing through you, that tips a lot of scales. And so just really stress management, taking care of your body. And that's also, as you know, we're talking about all this here. Sleep's really important, y'all, to honor that sleep, get enough sleep, because that is when our body is really kind of regenerating things and removing toxins, putting them away. Just our gut, we have different gut bacteria that come out at night and do some work, that whole circadian rhythm. But right now, especially being in the winter, and we have more darkness, and it's the time for more rest. It's the time for more detox right now. And so honor that time and get as much rest as you can. And you just might need that a little bit more as you go through this. If you do have those times where you feel kind of icky, and a lot of people will forget. It's funny how many times that came up this last round. It's like, oh yeah, I'm doing this deal. You know, something will come out of nowhere, like, God, I feel so tired. What is wrong with me? What's my problem? Like, oh yeah, I'm pushing a lot of things in my body right now. I'm asking my body to do a lot of stuff. And so just to recognize that and respect it, and just give yourself a little TLC if you need it. Please make sure you're drinking plenty of water as part of that flushing and drainage and getting rest and all the basic things we're talking about, right? Sunshine and grounding and reducing stress as much as you can in this world that we live in. But that's really important, because it most definitely can tip the bucket, put you over the edge. So Yeah, thank you for sharing. Did your husband decide to do it? And wasn't your husband thinking about doing it alongside you?
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna do this together. He's doing the foundational and I'm gonna do the expedited,
Expedited.
right,
comprehensive.
which we can talk about later because I didn't know if I should buy 4.1 or 4B, but I just bought 1, 2, and 3 right now.
Yeah, that's good. And then yes, when we get closer, we can kind of
Yeah.
see where you go with that. Awesome. Yeah, that's great. Well, good deal. That's great. Anybody else have anything you want to jump in with before we wrap up?
I'll share. So I broke a wrist and it took me 5 months to get it actually diagnosed.
Oh gosh.
And then 2 surgeries. So once I finally had the surgeries, it I gained some weight, but it was back-to-back surgeries, and I was casted for 16 weeks and another 4 weeks. So it was just a long process that just took so much toll on my body. And all of a sudden my face was breaking out for 6 months, and I'm like, what in the world? And it was just interesting. And I haven't been able to lose the 10 pounds no matter what I do. So I knew it was just time to do something different.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why.
Okay. Yeah. Well, this is different. This will shake it up. That's for sure.
Good.
Good. I like to hear that. Okay. Well, good. Awesome. Carrie, oh no, Chris. Chris, are you coming in to share? Are you like unmuting to talk? Looks like you might be trying. Let me see if I ask to unmute. Does that help?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Yes, I actually was watching another health person about a parasite cleanse. So that was kind of on my brain, and they were talking about SIBO. Like a lot of people were doing these parasite cleanse, and I had recently been diagnosed with SIBO, kind of on top of a lot of menopause issues as well. So, and the weight gain. So kind of those reasons kind of led me, and I had been following you for years through a friend. So I've been hearing you talk about it for many years and just decided it was time with everything going on. So
yeah. Okay. Good. All right. Yeah. It's a good time to do it. I think I've had people ask me over the past, like, I've done parasite cleanse and it didn't seem to do anything. And there's, different factors when it comes to it. Number one, it has to be long enough. So a lot of people are like, why is this so long? It's 4 months. It's an investment of time, right? But you need that entire time to address these pathogens and kind of catching them wherever they are in their life cycle. And it takes a while. And also, a lot of other kind of products and things don't address the biofilms, which are the little kind of protective, I call them like kind of bubbles that these pathogens will kind of protect themselves with. So a lot of times we have to like bust the protective bubble before we even get to them. And so these things just take time, and you need that kind of have the right combination of compounds in what you're doing. And so it's why I just really love the way Cellcore does it. And again, because of the carbon technology and the charge that comes with. So when I was talking about, building that negative charge, Cellcore has always tested their products, and they test them for like this charge against kind of other humics and fulvics and some other things that are out there. And they just always, that's what they strive for, to have that high charge. So it's also donating some of this electrical charge and working toward that. That is why, another reason, and the main reason it's so effective is the way that the charges are working within the cell. And that's what makes it know whether to take something or leave something, is the way that the charges interact with each other of the different metals or minerals or whatever it is. It's how, when they come together in the cell, how they interact. And that's really what makes that kind of smart technology of the carbon technology. So just a lot of kind of good things about this. Let's see, if we run into questions or problems as we go, where do we ask you? Yes, if you'll put it in the group chat, yes, that would be great. That's the best place for me to see it. And I always like that as well, because it allows other people, unless it's just so direly embarrassing or something like that, and you want to, email me privately. But again, like, I hope I'm setting the stage here that we are very open in all the areas, but it's just really helpful for other people. And that's what the beauty of it. And that's what people said over and over these last 4 months. Like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad we're doing it like a group format as opposed to, just doing it kind of on my own, because it just gives you more perspective, and it's interesting to see how everybody's tolerating it. And you can ask each other too, like, oh, I have a terrible headache, or it's just nice to know what other people are experiencing as you go along with it. So yes, definitely ask in the chat, and you're also welcome, to jump in and answer each other, and I'll weigh in as well. But as you're kind of making your way through it, encourage each other and follow along, so that it might answer a question that you have or give you a good idea about something, for sure. But if not, otherwise we will meet here at the same time on Tuesdays at 1:30 Central. And like I said, we'll always have that question post, so please put your questions there. We'll send you a reminder email about it. And then we will also post the replay. I mean, y'all are here, so you probably don't need to see the replay, but we always post the replay also in the group as well. So for those that can't be here live. So if you did need to watch it back or rewind it and listen to something, you could. Okay. All right. Well, good luck. Let's step one. We'll ease our way in here. And then again, but if you finish step 1 and you're ready to move on to step 2, like before we meet, that's perfectly fine. So just know that if you've already started and you're going to be kind of ahead of the game, that's okay. You can start before we meet next time. Just continue right on. Okay.
Yay.
Okay. Good to see y'all. We'll see y'all next month. Bye.
Bye.